Hey guys, this is Mr. Manning, and this video is going to be an introduction to Excel. And while you watch this video, I'm going to ask you to fill out your Excel Talk notes. And I have given those to you on Edmodo, but they look like this, if you're not sure what I'm talking about. We're going to go through some of the basics of Excel, and as we do that, I'd like for you to fill in the blanks in these spots. This information is going to be pretty important for you as we move forward. A lot of the terms and things terms that we're going to be discussing, you'll use a lot when you're learning Excel. And then also, this will be 2.0 information on your final summative for the semester. So, let's go ahead and get to it, and let's talk a little bit about what is Excel and why we're going to use it. So, first of all, what is Excel? It is a computer software program. It's created by Microsoft, and it's actually really similar to Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. In fact, whenever you bring up Excel, you'll notice that the top part of it has ribbons, just like Word and PowerPoint, and a lot of the buttons and options and things like that that you can do with Excel are really similar. Now, there is a lot of differences, though. When you first open Excel, it's not going to look like PowerPoint or Word on the bottom part of the screen. It's going to look like a big grid, and we'll talk a little bit about what you're going to use that grid for. So why do people use Excel? Well, it's mainly used for financial reasons. Accountants use it every single day. If you're planning on going into any kind of business whatsoever, like if you're going to become an accountant, or maybe you want to do something with finance, or you want to run your own business, there's all sorts of occupations that use this program. Some people even use it just for their home life, like whenever they're doing their personal finance and keeping up to date on their checking account, things like that. All right, so why are we going to use Excel for accounting? Well, a couple of the big advantages that Excel lets us do is the first one, as you're using Excel for accounting, Excel does a lot of the math for you. So if you've been struggling or getting frustrated with the math behind all these accounting worksheets that we've been doing, then this will be really good for you because Excel will actually do a lot of the math for you. Now, of course, you have to tell it what math you want it to do. You have to give it the equation, but once you do, it does all the calculations. And we're going to talk a lot over the next couple of weeks how to make Excel do the equation you want it to. Another thing that you're really going to like about it is when you're putting in numbers in your accounting documents. So if you're putting them in a worksheet or a ledger or a balance sheet or whatever it might be, Excel will actually fill in a lot of the numbers for you. So as you put numbers in, it'll start to fill them in for you as well. And then this can be really useful because if you make a mistake, and a lot of you guys know how it is when you make a mistake with this stuff, you have to get out the big eraser and start erasing numbers on this page and that page, and if you make one mistake, it can really kind of snowball on you. Excel's really nice because if you make a mistake, it will change all those numbers for you instantly, and it's pretty easy to correct. How long are we going to use Excel? Well, we're going to use this for the rest of the year. This is what an accountant in real life does. They use Excel, so that's what I want you guys to use. You might be asking, well, why weren't we doing this from the very beginning? I felt like it was necessary for you to understand the process of accounting before I threw the software program at you. But now that a lot of you understand the process and you feel comfortable, we're going to start learning how to do it in Excel and hopefully make it a little bit easier for you. Okay. So, like I said, you're going to want to have this document right here. It's called Excel Talk 2.0, Need to Know Information. And as I'm going through some of this info, if you just will fill in the blanks, that'll be good enough for your notes. And this will be something you'll want to keep because this will be a really good study resource for whenever we get to the 2.0 summative. All right, so this is what an Excel document looks like. You probably have seen this in a couple of my other videos because whenever I showed you how to do a general journal or a ledger or any of those things, I actually was using Excel. And you'll notice right at the beginning, up here across the top, the ribbon looks a lot like PowerPoint or Word. They're made by the same company, so of course they're going to make them look pretty similar. I can click on these different ribbons to get different options. A lot of these we won't use. In fact, for the most part, we're going to be staying on the home ribbon. But there are several things that you can do on these different ribbons as well. All right, so let's talk about the layout of Excel. When you first open it up, you'll notice that it's a grid. There's a whole bunch of rows and columns and boxes. So let's get some terms out there first. In Excel, rows go from left to right. So I have just currently selected row 2. And it goes all the way across the screen from left to right. And I know that it's row 2 because over here on the left-hand side, I have numbers going all the way down the page. So in Excel, rows go from left to right, and they are represented by numbers. Columns go up and down, and they are represented by letters. So if I were to click right here, I am selecting column C. Finally, wherever a row and a column intersect is a box, and the proper Excel term for that is actually a cell, C-E-L-L. Whenever you click on a cell, you always say the column first and then the row. So for instance, right now I have cell E4 selected. It's in column E and row 4. E4. Kind of sounds like bingo. If I were to select the cell in the upper left-hand corner, it would be A1. You can always tell what row and column are selected because they will be highlighted in kind of like this yellow gold color. So if I click down here, my I becomes highlighted and the 13 becomes highlighted. And you can always tell what cell you currently have selected because right in this box here, it will always have the name of the cell. So if I click here, it says F7. If I click down here, it says D15, and so on. Okay, now how do you navigate around in Excel? Well, there's actually 3 different ways. There's the way that you've been watching me do with my mouse. I can just hover my mouse over any cell and do one left click, and it will select that cell. I can also use the arrows on my keyboard. You might be able to hear me hitting them, but if I hit the right arrow, the bottom arrow, top arrow, or left arrow, it will move the selected cell around. Finally, if you're typing and you don't want to take your hand off the keyboard to change to a new box, you can hit Enter to move down or Tab to move to the right. So that's Enter to move down, Tab to move to the right. Okay. Typing in Excel is really easy. You just simply click on any cell that you want to type in and you start typing. Now, after you type, you'll notice that sometimes if you type enough, it actually goes a little too far. If you look right here, I typed this is a cell. And the E and the 2 L's go a little too far. They go over the C column. They outstretch it a little bit. Every so often while you're typing, you might have to expand the size of the columns or the size of the rows so that you can get all of your text in there. And expanding a column is really easy. You just simply move your cursor up between the 2 columns. So like right now, my cursor is in between the C and the D. And when it becomes that arrow or that line with 2 arrows going left and right, you can then do a left click and hold it and drag your column so that it's wider. Pretty simple. What if you want to use borders? Okay, so in accounting, there's a lot of times where we're doing some math and we use like a bottom border to show that we have done some either addition or subtraction. For instance, let's say that I am going to do 4 plus 8. Okay, and of course we know the answer is 12. But if I want to show a line here, so it's a little bit easier to see that these 2 numbers were added, I can select the cell that I want to put a border on, and then the borders button is right here. It's right next to the paint bucket. It's in between the underline and the paint bucket. If I hit the down arrow, there's a whole bunch of options that I can use. The ones that you're going to use the most are probably bottom border or thick bottom border. You might use the double line to show that you're done with the accounting worksheet or whatever it is that you're working on. But I'm going to just put single bottom border. And now when I click off of that cell, you can see that it applied a line. Okay, down here at the bottom, we have tabs. This is different than Word and PowerPoint, because in Word and PowerPoint, you're working just with one document. Excel's a little bit different because you can actually work with several sheets, they're called sheets, at one time. So I am currently on sheet 1. I can tell that I'm on sheet 1 because it's selected. If I click on sheet 2, it becomes selected, and you can see that all my text went away. That's because I wasn't currently on sheet 2 when I was typing all that stuff. If I click on tab for sheet 1 again, my text reappears. The reason this is important for you is because whenever we start doing the accounting cycle using Excel, you're going to have all your documents across the bottom. So you might have one sheet for your general journal, you might have another sheet for your ledgers, another sheet for your worksheet, balance sheet, income statement, and so on. And to get to those different things, you don't have to leave the program, you just have to click the tabs. Okay. Finally, if you ever need to change the name of a sheet or add or delete one, or you can even change the color, you just do a right click on any of the tabs down here, and insert is to add one, delete is obviously to take one away, rename is to change it, and then if you want to, you can do tab color. I kind of like to do this just so it's a little bit easier to see. Maybe I want this one to be green. Now it doesn't really look green right now, but if I click on another tab, you can see that it turned green. Okay, that is Excel 2.0 or Excel Talk 2.0 Need to Know Info. I hope that you were able to fill out all of the lines. If you weren't, you can pause the video, rewind it, or holler at me and I will help you out. Thank you.